This is Haven. Just a fucking lovely experience. Haven is a third-person RPG, indie RPG game developed and published by the Game Bakers, a developer that doesn't have much experience at all with console and PC games. They started off with like mobile games and shit, but like I don't really play mobile games. They had recently Squid's Odyssey and Fury, but I haven't played those games, so who gives a fuck. You ever played a game that has had a foundation around love like a rom-com movie? Well, that's basically Haven, and surprisingly it actually works very well.
As long as they do it soft.
In Haven, your protagonists are Yu and Kay, a couple who've ran away from their tyrannic home planet where their spouse, if you know what I mean, like, you know, their partner in life, their girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, was chosen for them by their government's matchmaker, like a literal matchmaker the government made up, and you have to obey by it. Simplify, they just thought that was fucked. So Yu and Kay take their small ship / new home, the Nest, and they escape from the area. Fuck me. Look, it's A-R-I-A-R-Y. I'm not ashamed, I can't fucking say it. Anyway, they begin to live peacefully on this abandoned planet called Source, but not everything goes to plan.
Give me a minute. Come on.
So, for some reason, the small islet they live on starts to just break apart and causes their nest to get wrecked. And that gives you an objective in the game to fix your ship, which is pretty much lasts the whole game. And I know it's not small, but I do enjoy the traversal system in Haven called gliding, which is basically, for the first part of the game, just hovering really fast. You can walk as well, but gliding is much faster. It's basically the sprinting of this game. But they're really creative with this, with flow bridges and flow streaks. Basically just flow streaks are just lines you follow gliding to give you more flow, and flow is basically fuel for gliding. Flow bridges are just bridges to the next area or islet in the game. You sort of just go there and then instantly travel. You know, you get a loading screen and you're on the next islet. Islet, by the way, they're just islands basically.
Not if you're gonna make a mockery of it.
I think maybe a few hours into the game, the home planet's government,
Arary,
Okay.
Arary.
You can be Muffin.
The
Have you ever
Arary.
watched the show?
No, but
Look,
I think I get the
telling you
gist.
now, I've played the game.
Okay. So
I've literally finished the fucking game, and I can't pronounce it. Well, I've almost finished the game
Ooh,
at the moment.
cupcake.
As the time of
What a
recording, I
nice
have almost
dress
finished the
you
game. I'm
have.
literally pretty much at the end, but I've heard them say it, and I just can't say the word right now.
I'm wondering.
Anyway,
what's
their home government, they
underneath it?
find you about halfway through the game, and they start to hunt you. Now, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but the main objective of Yu and Kay is to avoid their government and repair their nest,
No, come
house
on,
thing,
Kay. Come
just so they
back.
can live peacefully
I
together
sincerely
in
wanted to
harmony.
play dolls with you. But Muffin and
Right now,
Cupcake
lads and
also have
ladettes,
emotions,
on to
you
one of
know.
my favourite aspects of Haven, the art style, which just is a mixture of anime, you know, / manga style during dialogue, but then in game it's like a 3D, just vibrant art style that I just personally love, because during dialogue you can see so much great character expression, but then in the game it's the same, just not as much. The dialogue animations flood the player with most of the visual character development.
That made you laugh?
As for during gameplay,
I just
it's
imagined her face
just pretty
when we
as
get back
fuck.
and give her the whooping she deserves.
If you didn't know, a good looking game doesn't have to be a
Kind of
realistic
scary
looking game.
sometimes. You know that?
Now, obviously, games with great graphics like COD, Modern Warfare, they still look amazing because it's real looking. This is not always necessary though. I don't know how to explain it, but the art style just makes it so relaxing to traverse this world. As I said before, the gliding in the game is very relaxing and has a way of drawing you into this world where the only thing that matters is the bond between these two characters. You use the right trigger to glide, and you know the usual left analog stick to steer, but it is a drifting button on the LT, which it can be fun sometimes in the game and useful. Some flow frames will bring me higher to the point where you're basically flying while following the line. Accompanied by the amazing soundtrack by Danger, this became my favourite thing to do in the game. Haven actually has some survival aspects to it where you'll have to cook meals, craft bombs, they're basically just boosters, and synthesize mates. And all of this is just from the many resources you'll find around Source. You know, you'll find cooking resources like, actually, there are pretty sure all of the made resources can be used to cook. You know, like helicaps, the ras peppers, they can be used to cook and to make maids. So it's just, there's so much. There's apple dews, and if you play the game, that'll be a running joke. There's boba nuts and everything. There's just everything you find can be used, basically. However, there are some downfalls in this game when it comes to gameplay, which I will be talking about at the end of the video. There's a raid substance covering random areas of Source which you, the player, must clear, and to be honest, there's a simple satisfaction I found in clearing them right from the get-go. It has a purpose with the crafting, making bombs, and repairing the ship. You use rust for a lot of shit in this game. As well as that, halfway through the game, you should discover a plant that attracts Burble, your fast travel flying animal, but she can only go to cleared islets. Me personally, I wouldn't finish the main story until I cleared every islet. Maybe it's just the small completionist side of me.
Don't mind us. We're just passing through.
Do be careful, though. We might pass again. Are you sure this one is ripe?
It passes. This is where we came from.
All right, I know.
Now, let's talk about the combat. In a way to describe it, unique, in fairness,
Nice one.
but simple at its core. When fighting multiple enemies, it starts to get fucking pissy and confusing. The game has 4 attack options: Impact, which is melee; Blast, which is range; Pacify is when you just finish them off; and Shield, which is just block, right? Obviously. Now that's all well and good, that's fine at the start, but when you're fighting enemies that are imperious until after they attack, or enemies that have key weaknesses at certain points, like enemies that can't be shot with range, or it just doesn't do anything to them and you have to attack them with melee, but only at a certain time.
I can't take much more of this.
Do you know how confusing it is managing both characters while at the same time fighting 3 to 4 high level enemies who all have unique weaknesses and they all need to be fought with different strategies, and I'm just sitting there like, what am I supposed to do?
My boyfriend.
Right, for example, most of the time I'll just shield with one character and attack with the other to keep my health up, but the shield only lasts so long, so switch character, but sometimes KRU will just hit the wrong fucking enemy at the perfect moment, just causing me to maybe lose a little bit of health or just miss out an opportunity, which just gets so pissy. Like, trust me, if anybody's ever played this game, you just sit there and get, not infuriated, but it's really annoying. Like, as well as that, there's no icons or symbols or any fucking thing to tell me how to attack an enemy. You know, there's nothing telling me this guy needs ranged, this guy is doing an attack where he's weak. There is actually a
I'll follow
thing,
your lead.
like a dizzy whatever thing, where you can tell that they're stunned and you can attack them. But That's literally the only one. Right, but I know not every game has that. Not every game has, most games don't have that, but this game would just be better off with it. Because without it, this game is just more stressful, trying to figure out how to fight one enemy while fighting 3 others. Now, to be honest, this is not a game-breaking thing, it's just only really annoying. The game's so Dark Souls-like, it's not built to be difficult, and it's not difficult. It just takes a lot of time to get fucking used to it. It takes patience with it. Oh, and by the way, you control U to go with A, X, B, and Y, while K is the D-pad. Now that's on Xbox, but you know the story on PC or on PS4. I don't know the case on fucking PC. To be honest, I don't play a PC. Another small nitpick though, boys, can be when you interact with an enemy before combat. So you're free roaming and you just see like a massive snake cobra fucking thing that flies, right? And it'll be one NPC, it'll be one straight in front of you, but then when you walk up to it, you'll just be in a fighting thing where it's like 4 enemies. Or it's that one that you walked up to and it's 3 or others, or it can range from like 1 to 6. And I just like to know when I'm fighting, especially when I'm low on health, you know? Something's chasing me and I can't get away from it or whatever, I like to know that I can survive. Just to highlight on the bombs again, they're literally like kind of like perks. If you're in the middle of a fight, you use them to just get better health, you know, like to heal you, or you can do the Omni Impact, which ups your damage and ups your speed. And then I think there's another one. I never used them, I only use the healing ones, because in this game you do need to heal like a lot. And the damage one, which just fucks everything up, to be honest, it just messes everything. Now let's get to the point here, right? This game is just such a good representation of like an adult relationship. Like, it's genuinely so good. I've never seen like love and relationships in a game like this, like described in a game like this. I mean, sure, you have, you know, like, what's the word for it? Linear games. You know, you have Heavy Rain, you have Fahrenheit. They were fucking ages ago though. You have
Nothing.
Walking Dead.
I just thought about the big
First
potato
2
who knocked
seasons.
us out.
And that
I
made you
haven't
laugh.
played season 3 or how?
Yes. I just imagined her
I
face
don't know.
when
I
we
think I
get
played
back
season
and
4,
give
I
her the
don't know.
whooping she
The point is
deserves.
though, like, you know, games can be linear,
You're
but
kind of
when the
scary
whole game is
sometimes,
focused
you know
around
that?
2 people in a relationship, it can differentiate, because it can be like a really good depiction that's realistic, or maybe be shite and just a pipe dream, you know what I mean? Where it's like,
I think I'll
oh
take
yeah,
a shower
nothing happens to them, they're in
Wanna
love, they
join?
never argue, blah blah blah.
to conserve the hot water.
This game, it's
Okay.
a realistic portrayal,
But
you know?
I can't guarantee we'll
Your
conserve
partner
hot
will
water.
always have your back on your decisions in life, and sometimes even they might not support them, but they're still going to stay with you and help you. Sometimes you argue, say things you don't mean, and then afterwards you just regret it and want to, you know, kiss and make up, like,
Lights off?
which does happen
Yeah.
in this game. There's
Maybe
a
the Hornets will have a harder time
spoiler
finding us
alert,
in the
there is a
dark.
part where they actually
That's
fight
not funny.
and say really bad
I
stuff
wasn't
to each
trying to
other.
be funny.
And the
I'm
next
sorry to be a
day you
downer,
have to
but
play as kid looking for
I can't
you.
stop thinking about what
And then
they
you
would
find
do
her
if they
and
caught
she's
us.
hurt, and
The
she's like,
Hornets?
I'm sorry, and
No.
the kid's like, he's sorry.
The
you know,
Hornets will
it's-
just
it really
neutralize
feels
us.
like a real
I
relationship.
meant the apiary.
Speaking
Split us
as a
apart.
guy who is in a relationship,
Match us with our
I can
respective
relate,
names.
to be honest.
And how will they achieve
And
that?
that is just
By force?
such a tiny
Have you
thing.
ever
but
seen
it's so,
anyone fight
it's just
back
so good
during
to
their
me. I
matching
love
ceremony?
those tiny wee details.
We
in
can't be
games
the
where
only
it's-
ones who've refused our
it
mates, can
feels
we?
Real. It's immersive
What do you
as
mean?
fuck. Like,
Have you ever heard about recalibrating?
it's just
Oh no, not this.
one of the other
wives'
reasons I
tale
can tell
about
that this game
brainwashing.
is just good. And
I never
can't
said it was
explain is because
brainwashing. Just
I
erasing
literally
selected
played it
bits
for
of
2
memory.
seconds, and I was looking. I got enough
really
Game
believe
Pass.
in that stuff?
Just looking on Game Pass, so I looked at the description
not?
and I was like, it
It's
sounds like it'd be
technically
alright.
possible.
Played
I
it
mean,
and could not
it
stop
is
every single
conceivable,
day. I
isn't
completed the
it?
game in like 2 or
Don't
3
they
days.
erase some
But
memories
I didn't
in
play it all
trauma
day,
therapy?
obviously. You know, I had other
How
things
wouldn't
to
the
do.
council
But
apply that to
if I
other
was on my
uses?
Xbox, I was playing
Such
even.
as
Unless, you know,
For
maybe
instance,
it's wanted to play
they could
Rainbow or
erase the
something.
memories we have of each
But
other.
honestly,
That way,
I'm a noob at
we'd be
Rainbow.
a
So
lot
I
more
just started
amenable
playing
to the
game, and I
matchmaking
don't know what I meant.
process.
In
That's beside the point.
therapy, they erase very
If I just wanted
specific,
to sit
very
down and
short
chill,
memories of events.
Haven is the
I don't
game
think
for
you could
that
erase
because
all of the memories
you
of
can
one
just
person
sit and
that
watch
way.
these characters grow.
That would erase entire years in a
You
person's
can be
life.
outside of the nest,
Do you think
doing
we're
like
technically
gliding, just
unable
relaxing
to,
with
or
the amazing
morally
soundtrack.
unwilling
I
to?
know I said it already, but that soundtrack,
I was
go look
trying
it
to
up.
get
It's
some
by
sleep,
Danger.
you.
Just look up Haven
Well,
soundtrack.
too bad.
In the first part of the game,
There's no reason I should be the
sorry,
only
in the first
sleepless
in
one.
the first part of the game, before you even get to the menu, you hear it. I watched that amazing intro. Like, you cannot tell me that intro just doesn't make you feel something. It just reminds me of an intro to an anime or something. It's just got amazing art about it, and it just makes you feel like, wow, what is this? Anyway, guys, that's my review on Haven. Lads and ladettes. I'm honestly still new at this, but I thought this indie game just deserves some praise from the 4 or 5 people that watched this video, because I looked online and yeah, I've seen some
Where are
things
we
on
right
YouTube,
now?
but when I mention it to people,
thereabout.
nobody knows what it is.
That's the best I can guess
And
without
there's not
astrology.
really, there's only like what,
Do you
an
really think
IGN
that
review,
reactivating it could be dangerous?
one other review, and
Just
there's maybe
say,
a couple of
I'd
playthroughs,
prefer
but
not to risk it.
nobody's talking about this great indie game. And some people should, because you don't get games like this nowadays. I mean, I didn't go into Haven and get a loot box, you know what I mean? Or get like different outfits that I had to pay like £2 for, you know what I mean? I just got into the game and all it was just art. You know, and I know this game isn't fucking like, it's not something that, you know, deserves an award or anything, but it's just a nice wee game to play that you can tell there was so much heart put into it. And every little thing was thought about. Like, you literally just play the game and you get wee cutscenes of them talking, and I could, if you asked me, I wouldn't be able to remember them all because it seems so normal. But it's just a nice thing to watch, just you and Kay talking, doing their thing. Like, you'll interact with things just for a cutscene. Where I'll like click in the shower and, you know, things will get a little steamy, if you know what I mean. And, you know, you'll get like a funny wee interaction, or cooking, you'll get a cutscene after that. Or when they're playing with the fucking, as you saw in the video, when they're playing with the toys. It's just, you play this game for the story, for you and Kay. You don't come for the fucking resources and, you know, what do you call that shit, the rust? You don't play the game for getting rid of the rust. You play this game for you and Kay's story, for their life. And if you played the game already, you know how the ending is. Yes, you got the good ending. If you got the bad ending, I don't know what you were doing in that game. Because getting the bad ending is just choosing a wrong dialogue option, and that's just stupid. Because I got the good ending and then wanted to know, so I looked at the bad ending. It's just so fucking stupid, to be honest. If you played this game, you know how much the ending gives you the feels that I'm not afraid to admit it, it does.
Obviously, with
So
4 people per bunk,
honestly, if you're looking
there
just
wasn't
for a
much
wee cheap
privacy.
game to play,
But to be honest,
I don't actually know how much it is because the Game
Everyone
Pass,
was nice to
and you
me.
know, it doesn't, I didn't
friends,
check because the Game Pass, you
If
know,
I
you just
needed to be
install it. But
alone, I
if
could
you want
always
to
go hide
get
in
a
the
wee
backyard.
nice cheap game to relax
I guess
and just play with no
needing to be alone is
microtransactions
kind of an
bothering
alien
you,
concept to you.
no other players. Oh, actually, something I forgot to mention in the video. Sorry about that.
I wasn't listening.
You can do
You
co-op,
have this
or I
huge
think you can do
zit on
online
your back
multiplayer as
that
well,
is
where
killing me.
one person can play the
You
other
just asked
character.
me what
Well,
growing up in the
I
foster
think you
home
can
was
play
like.
both characters in
I
Switch.
know.
But one thing
But
I
it
kind of
is
didn't
so
like in the dialogue, if you play with 2 people, you can both choose the dialogue options. Like, I thought it'd be like one player is Kay, the other player is you, but if they're talking to each other, you both have to select the same dialogue option. You know, kind of like in Mortal Kombat where you both have to select the same map to guarantee getting that map. You know, if you both select, you know, I love you, then they're going to say I love you. Because I'll be honest, I haven't played the multiplayer, but I've seen it online and it's alright, I guess. It looks like the game would be a lot more fun, but apparently the gliding doesn't really work out when you're playing 2-player, but I might as well mention that because it seems like it'd be really fun. And me, myself, actually, I've been meaning after to play it with my girlfriend sometime, because it just seems like it'd be a nice thing to be just a wee relaxing game, you know?
Too easy.
Yeah, that's it, folks. If you wanna just play a relaxing game, I've said that like the 6th time now, you just wanna chill out, just have fun, Haven is the game for you, and it's not too dear like at all. So that's it, lads and ladettes. Martini out.